Thank you for staying with us. You're still watching The Breakfast on Plus TV Africa. NADF pledges to revolutionize Nigeria's agricultural sector for economic transformation. The National Agricultural Development Fund, NADF, has pledged to revolutionize Nigeria's agricultural sector, positioning it as a cornerstone for economic and social development. Executive Secretary Mohammed Ibrahim, during the 32nd convocation ceremony at the Federal University of Agriculture, emphasized the sector's vital role in driving innovation and growth. Ibrahim discussed the NADF's quick response to a devastating epidemic in Nigeria's ginger growing belt and the introduction of alternative crops like maize and sorghum. He also highlighted ongoing collaborations with global partners to implement climate-smart agriculture and advanced technologies like UAVs, LOT, and blockchain. He encouraged graduates to embrace agriculture as a modern, profitable career, stressing its transformative potential. Ibrahim concluded that agriculture is not just a livelihood, but a national force capable of reducing poverty and boosting exports. Joining us this morning is Nick Agule, the public affairs analyst, to discuss this. Good morning, sir. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning, Rume. Good morning to our viewers globally.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us. So we're talking about agriculture now. Years past, agriculture was one of the ways we actually generated revenue for Nigeria before the oil boom. And for some weird reason, when the oil boom came, agriculture was put to the back seat. But everyone knows that first we need to feed, and we need agriculture to be able to reduce poverty in every nation. But with the fact that everybody looks at crude at the moment, can you just let us know like the significance of having a thriving agricultural sector, especially for a country like Nigeria, where we've seen food inflation, skyrocket and go over the roof? Why is agriculture critical in Nigeria right now?
Thank you very much for the question.
Yeah.
Agriculture is critical for Nigeria at this very moment because whereas humans can do without certain things, agriculture, which produces food, is what humans cannot do without. If a human does not nourish himself with food and water, there will be a certain number of days that that human will die, right? I may not ever have gold in my hand for all of my life. I may even not have petroleum products all of my life, but I can survive and reach 100 years of age, if not more. But if I don't eat food, I'm going to die. So that is how important agriculture is. And in Nigeria, we are blessed. I would say we are very blessed because for those who fly to Nigeria from Europe, they will see what I tend to be a miracle. Because if you fly from Europe, you get to Southern Europe, you then meet the Mediterranean Sea. The Mediterranean Sea divides Africa and Europe. The sea is between the two continents. So when you fly over the Mediterranean Sea and you come over the African continent, and you take a look down, if you are flying in the daytime, you are going to see the Sahara Desert. Right from the Mediterranean Sea, you are going to see the Sahara Desert all the way for about 2 hours of flight. Is the Sahara Desert you are seeing. 2-3 hours of flight even is the Sahara Desert you are seeing until when you get to northern Nigeria. Then you now see greenery from that point. It's all green from northern Nigeria all the way to the Atlantic Ocean. And that green means everywhere in Nigeria you plant something, it's going to grow, right? And we have a sufficient amount of rainfall to plant that with. And when the rain is not there, we have all sorts of water bodies, rivers and lakes everywhere to do irrigation. And we have the manpower to do it. And the soil is fertile. So Nigeria is really ready for agriculture, but unfortunately, this is one industry that has not been given prominence. So a country will reach fertile, arable land with the hands to cultivate it, the mouths to feed, is importing food as we speak today, which is quite a shame.
Okay, so why do you think, agriculture has been underutilized? What are some of the biggest challenges that we've seen so far? I know for some people, they'll tell you that the Gen Zs, they don't want to go into agriculture. Instead, they're thinking of content creation, they're thinking of tech, they're thinking of others. So the manpower can obviously be an issue. But for you, what are some of the major challenges that we've seen in this sector? And how do you think we need to start to address it right now, especially the NADF and even the government at large?
So if somebody talks about the fact that the Gen Zs aren't interested in agriculture and all of that, they will be right. But let's not forget that Gen Z is a more recent phenomenon. Even before the Gen Zs came on the stage, from Nigeria's independence to date, we have not taken agriculture seriously, right?
Yeah.
I tell people that in the Stone Age, just look at life in the Stone Age. We were moving about with our legs, bare legs for that matter. That was our means of transportation. Our means of housing were in the open or some caves. Our clothing was perhaps some leaves around our waist, for modesty, yes. We were going about stark naked for most times. That was life in the Stone Age. And agriculture in the Stone Age meant we were bending down with our physical energy and tilling the soil, right? Now, fast forward to the 21st century, 2025. Our mode of housing has changed now to modern houses. Some of the most beautiful houses can be found in Nigeria. Our mode of moving about has also dramatically changed. Some of the most latest automobiles you can ever find, you find them in Nigeria. And we have private jets and all sorts of things in Nigeria. And look at the way we are communicating now with mobile phones, state-of-the-art mobile phones. We have embraced technology. We are eating the finest food. We are flying planes up and down. What has not been upgraded is agriculture. In agriculture, we are still bending down and stealing the soil as it was in the ancient age. So while we have upgraded in every facet of our lives, including the kind of designer clothes we wear, we have left agriculture behind. And what is the reason for this? I can pin my finger, number one, on the fact that since Nigeria discovered crude oil, Nigeria has become an oil country, and everybody in Nigeria fixates themselves with crude oil. And other things is not just only agriculture. You look at other sectors like mining. The economy of countries like Australia is based on mining, Canada, mining. And we have all sorts of minerals in Nigeria. Nobody's looking at them, right? Then you look at other sectors like iron and steel. For you to develop, you need iron and steel. Nobody looks at that. Nobody even looks at electricity. We have not been looking at any other sector. All we want to do is to produce oil, which we are not even doing well. So for me, that is where the beginning is, that we did not take agriculture serious. So by the time we now had a lot of money from oil, instead of investing the money in agriculture, we started to import food. When I was growing up as a young lad, I used to hear of food importation at the point the military regimes, even the Shagari government, they were importing food. Sometimes they were even importing meat. We used to go to the market, and there was this huge amount of meat they used to bring, cows, that imported, not live, already killed, but not butchered. They just bring it like that.
Just like how you have the frozen chicken.
Yes, exactly. And then when a popular fish that is called ice fish, right? It's not in Nigeria. Any ice fish you eat has been imported into Nigeria and all of that. Now, if we fast forward from all that to the present Nigeria as we have it today, I would say two key factors are militating against agriculture in Nigeria as we have it today. Number one, insecurity. There are large swaths of land all over Nigeria that bandits and all sorts of criminals have driven farmers away from their farms, and these farmers are in RDP camps, right? So that's the first problem. So the food that these farmers were producing, they are no longer producing food. Instead, they are expecting to be fed in the RDP camps where they are. The second one is that Nigeria's agriculture, like I said, has been left behind, with crude means, physical energy, or what I call muscle force, right? Agriculture in other parts of the world has since long upgraded to machine energy, because with a machine, you'll be able to do a lot more on the farm. A farmer who uses his muscle energy to farm and gets maybe 2 or 3 bags or 5 bags of rice as his yield, if you give that farmer machine energy, he will produce 1,000 bags, 2,000 bags of rice. That's what machines do for us, right? And we have, for some reason, have ignored agricultural mechanization in Nigeria, and we have let farmers to continue to use muscle energy, which won't really produce much.
I completely agree with you when it comes to mechanized farming, because we cannot keep, tilling the ground, and that's the only way because of the mass production that we need, especially if we want to feed our nation and then now, use it as a means of generating revenue for our country. We need to look into mechanized farming. We need to look for smarter ways to work. So you're reducing the time and becoming more efficient with it. Now, the National Agricultural Development Fund has obviously pledged to revolutionizing the agricultural sector as a whole. If you were to advise, what are some key things that they need to look into, and how can we help? So not just the National Agricultural Development Fund, but stakeholders, the citizens. How can we also help to ensure that we're putting our hands in the plow, literally here, and looking for ways to obviously reduce poverty in the long run?
Let me make a confession. This National Agricultural Development Fund, when I was sent a link that the executive secretary has gone to the University of Agriculture, I think in Abeokuta, to go and make a speech, I said, which one is this National Agricultural Development Fund? Never heard of it before. So I actually went and searched it up. When I searched it up, and I found out that, this is an agency of government that was set up in 2022. The National Assembly actually now passed a law that set up this agency. And I felt very sad. Why am I not happy that a government agency has been set up? Because, look, you see, Rume, in Nigeria, when there are problems, instead of us fixing the problems, we go and create more problems, right? There are tons of such institutions in Nigeria already, right? We have the Bank of Agriculture in Nigeria, right? We have the Bank of Industry that also supports agricultural industrialization. We have there's this one in the central bank, right? Central bank had the Anchor Borrower Scheme, which they use the Nigeria Agricultural Credit Guarantee Scheme, NISA, to do. We have commercial banks themselves are doing that. We have another agricultural entity that is being sponsored by the National Social Insurance, Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority, and the central bank. We have all these institutions already. All of them, if you ask them, they will tell you that they are institutions to support agriculture in Nigeria. But they are not doing what they are supposed to have done. So instead of the National Assembly to say, okay, Bank of Agriculture, what are you there for? Why are you not funding agriculture? Is that not your job? Anchor Borrower Scheme, where is it? Bank of Industry, where is this thing? They now go and set up another industry. Another agency, right? And then this agency, the budget that this agency has, instead of this agency to commit the budget to funding agriculture, their Oga has boarded a plane to go to Akure. You know, before he gets, to Abeokuta, before he gets to Abeokuta, he will fly to Lagos. He will fly to Lagos. Then they either use chopper to come to there or something. They are now, they are just spending the money on operating expenditure, right? So it is really very sad. Look, this Oga of Nigeria Agricultural Development Fund, since his agency was set up in 2022.
Nick, we have to go shortly. So just tell us, how can we all ensure that we're doing what needs to be done with this initiative? So if we really want to revolutionize the agricultural sector, what can we do right now? What do you expect to see
right now,
to ensure that it's, it's better? Yeah.
Yeah, the solutions are two solutions. Number one, Mr. President must read the Riot Act to the commanders, to the security agency commanders, and give them a deadline to drive away the bandits that are occupying our farmlands in Nigeria. This war cannot be fought permanently. If Mr. President appoints service chiefs, he should give them a mandate. Within 6 months or 1 year, free all the agricultural lands in Nigeria, or please leave your job so that I can bring in another commander or service chief to see if they can do it better. So let's recover the agricultural lands in Nigeria that are currently under the control of all sorts of bandits. That's number one. Number two, we need to flood the farms with machines. Flood the farms with machines so that we can cultivate more. Number three, let us engage in agriculture, in irrigation. Look, we have over 200 rivers in Nigeria. If we dam a river, we are going to get an irrigation, which is all year round agriculture. We get pipe-borne water, we get hydroelectricity, we get fishing activities, we get tourism around that river. Let the governors at their state start damming rivers, small river, dam it. Every 10 years, every 4 years, dam one river. If we were damming one river per tenure, each state would have got 6 dams now already.
All right, sir.
And each of them will be agricultural centers.
Yeah.
So these are the things we are giving lip service for far too long. And an agency like that, this Nigerian Agricultural Development Finance, should be closed down. And the money should be sent to farmers directly so that they can improve their own agriculture. We don't want any more agencies of government. We already have enough.
All right. Thank you so much, Nick. I love the things that you said. 3 things, obviously, to look into. One of it is to tackle insecurity. Another is to prioritize mechanized farming. And the last one is to look into irrigation. So hopefully, these are things that we can use to obviously revolutionize agriculture in Nigeria. And in a way, it's going to obviously eradicate poverty, even reduce unemployment, and just we could just have a better economy as a whole. Thank you so much, Nick, for coming. It's always a pleasure having you. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Rume, and have a nice day.
Have a wonderful day, sir. All right, so we've been speaking with Nick Agule, is a public affairs analyst, and we've just been looking at the fact that the National Agricultural Development Fund has pledged to revolutionize agriculture in Nigeria. This is where we have to say goodbye on The Breakfast this morning. Thank you so much for having The Breakfast with me. My name is Rume. Paulson, I'll see you again tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Good morning.